Replay casting day. It is live, but it's replay casting for us. This is Complexity versus TongFu. Group best of I can't say that word. Round of 12.
Round of
Not
12.
group of 12.
Best
Round
of
of 12.
3,
Yes.
game 1. Complexity on the
Yes.
Radiant, TongFu on the Dire. And the reason I didn't show you guys the game while we were unpausing it, so you didn't actually see the replay timer. Hopefully nothing will be spoiled this way. This was a best out of 3 played earlier today. Unfortunately, it overlapped with IG versus LGD, so we are doing a replay cast. We have all 3 replays downloaded and ready to go. So the good news for you guys is there were some...
All 3 or 2?
Whoops. Well, either way, we have all the replays downloaded. We are ready to go, which means the good news for you guys is none of those pesky delays that we've had here and there in this tournament and others. So that's the good news. And the bad news is it's not live.
It doesn't matter. It's pretty live to us right now. This is round of 12. The winner of this series will be going on to the round of 8 to face CLG, who finished first in their group. Complexity on the Radiant side and TongFu on the Dire. Complexity, of course, team from America, TongFu, team from China. These two teams, how do you want to say, are they evenly matched in your opinion?
I think they're very evenly matched. I also feel they're very similar teams in terms of their approach. Very disciplined, and both teams, when they see openings, I'd say a little bit more so TongFu will definitely seize them, but both teams overall very stable, consistent. They're not going to take too many risks, but when they choose to engage, it's usually the right moment. And when it's not, well, it doesn't pay off. But very safe play is what I expect from both teams. I say that, and I'm sure we'll be surprised, but that is my expectation. I think they're about as similar as you can get for one team from China and another from North America.
No, you're absolutely right. Complexity is a team that is known to win very, very late. They like to do late game smoke gangs, and that's what some of the Chinese teams do as well. TongFu in particular doing that. Complexity on the Radiant side will have the first pick. Chen Prophet as well as the Shrek is being banned out. And they're going to go with Invoker right from the get-go.
Yeah, this one normally played by Jeyo, so looks to be Jeyo's Invoker. And I will say, I have not seen him actually play Exhort Invoker. Even when they get heroes like Shadow Demon to set him up, he always goes for the Wex build. And, well, against Morphling, against Rubik, mana-dependent heroes, this can be very effective in the early to mid-game. So we'll see which direction he goes. Exhort is always an option for Rubik, or for Invoker, but that's my expectation. For TongFu, they get the Chinese favorite, normally played as a support, that's the Rubik, and then the hard carry, that's the Morphling. Will be played almost certainly by Hao, who is their hard carry player. Pretty interesting opening the draft, and, well, the question is, what's available? The big ones that I'm seeing right now, CK and Panda.
CK and Panda, that's your guess. I'm thinking more of the Sansheng Enigma. I think those are more mouse sports heroes, but heroes good in their own right. We saw Sansheng being picked up quite a bit today. We'll see whether it's going to be picked up. Enigma might be a little bit of awkward pick because the black hole can be easily stolen by the Rubik. But same thing by the Brewmaster, right? We saw some game-changing moments in the previous cast that Rubik was able to steal the ultimate. No, it's not going to be the Lone Druid and Venomancer instead. So 2 semi-carries already immediately picked up, and Complexity is not leaving much on to, well, there's not much surprise left. But Complexity known to play tiny, so there's not going to be that surprise as well.
All right, Lumi, this game's over. Let's move right ahead to game number 2, because Lone Druid was picked, and that hero undefeated for our cast today. I'm kidding, of course. But TongFu, they get a Beastmaster of their own. Now, generally, these Chinese teams don't run Beastmaster in the offlane, although they have in the past. They prefer to put him solo mid, or sometimes in the safe lane where you can get a quick level 6 and have an earlier impact. We'll have to see where TongFu want to place him, though, with Rubik here. I believe I have seen them run an offlane Rubik once. I think that was TongFu. So it's an option, but either way, TongFu, they're pretty open with their lanes. The one thing I'll say is these heroes are fairly XP dependent. Even Rubik for support definitely wants some levels.
That's definitely the case. I think offlane Beastmaster has been very, very popularized in the European scene. We see just about every single Euro team does it. You put the Beastmaster on the bot lane and you go for the Ancient Sack. I have not seen actually Chinese team do that just yet. Like you said, more common on the solo mid position, but we're not surprised at all if TongFu does pull the bot lane Beastmaster. For now, we're in the second draft. Anything particularly that either team is afraid of?
Neither team really has great team fight right now. To me, that's the big thing that's lacking on both of these lineups. You've got Poison Nova, you've got Invoker, who can do a lot of AoE damage, but for Complexity, where's the lockdown to deal with this Morphling? 0 disables, 0 silences picked up so far. Invoker has some pseudo disables, but no reliable stuns to work with. For TongFu, they have a lot of single target, but again, no big team fight ultimates. Rubik can steal a few, so that's certainly an option, but we'll have to see where they want to go. I think for both teams, they'll be looking towards something like the Sankey, the Tidehunter, as we see Sanking gets banned out here.
Yeah, the disables on the Radiant side is pretty cheesy right now. You have like Cold Snap plus Venomous scale, which I mean it's a thing, but
It's
it's
kind
not
of
something
nice,
extremely.
actually.
It's kind of nice if you hit it, but it's not extremely reliable. Lone Druce and Tango will happen, although again unplanned. Either you get a lot of Entangles or you get nothing yet. Both teams lacking in AoE ultimates, and they'll be banning a lot of AoE heroes. Sanking Enigma, what expected in the first phase of draft, gets banned out on the ban phase. And that leaves Tidehunter and perhaps Earthshaker, which TongFu does employ from time to time.
Right.
As in fact, they use it a lot, right? Isn't that one of their favorite supports?
Earthshaker, it's one of their more stable ones. I don't think I've seen them run it too much recently. They ran it a lot in these qualifiers, but not so much as of late. So we'll have to see if they want to go that route. I was gonna. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, my brain is farting. For anyone who's just tuning in, we were scheduled to cast starting at 8 a.m. my time. I want to say, or maybe it was 7 a.m. It's now
No, yeah, 8 years
It's
time.
now 3:30 my time, and we didn't cast the whole time, but we've been up thinking about casting, expecting to cast for a while. So if we're a little bit tired, well, we'll try and pump some energy into the cast. But yeah, I'm a little spacey right now, man. Shadow Demon gets banned. This one an interesting ban, as they do have an Invoker and could look to pick it up themselves. But I will say, whenever you're up against Morphling, we saw it earlier today. Morphling's already unkillable in general, and then you throw Shadow Demon to defend him on top of that, and things are pretty dicey. You really can't kill him off, but as always with Morphling, you can't ignore him either.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very curious ban. Generally, Invoker and Shadow Demon work very well together. Shadow Demon plus Sunstrike, but like you mentioned earlier, jeyo doesn't like the Sunstrike build, apparently. The second thing that really, it's a big clear signal for the IG's versus TongFu squad is that Shadow Demon's very, very good at protecting a hero, especially like a harder hero here like Morphling. It makes me want to think that Complexity wants to go for massive lockdown in the last two pick, and they don't
Right.
want Shadow Demon to be there to kind of break up any ganking parties.
Yeah, you mentioned Tidehunter, and I think that's the pick we should see from Complexity here. If they want to run the Tidehunter, they can throw him in the offlane. Lone Druid can take the safe farm, and then Invoker mid, with Venomancer maybe roaming, maybe dual-laning with Tide. Now, a lot of teams throw Lone Druid in the offlane, especially in the Western scene. Complexity, I feel they generally put TC on the Lone Druid, and they generally get on that protected farm. But we'll have to see which way they want to go. They do have their options
No,
here.
I think that's a good guess. I think that's a good guess. Hannah Montana always goes on this long lane with a Tie Hunter and then protect the farm for TC's Lone Druid, and it's gonna be a Tinker. This is very, very nice. March of Machine is a very, very powerful thing. Again, it's those tiny little machines that march, and people are like, oh, no damage. In fact, it does insane amount of damage, and it's actually a very, very powerful anti-ganking tool. If you're diving that Tinker early on, a lot of times you might even get the Tinker kill, but those March of Machine just kills you as you're trying to
Yeah.
run out that minefield.
I'm with you, man. I mean, March would be the more likely guess here, especially against heroes like Lone Druid, Venomancer, great pushing heroes. Sure, you can't kill off the Serpent Wards, but you can really discourage them from being near the tower. At the Bear, you're not going to kill it just with that, but you can do a lot of damage to drive the heroes back. Also, even Tidehunter generally likes to run in the front lines, but if March is being spammed, that will make things difficult. So, good anti-push. Overall, we are seeing a clash in styles here. Complexity going for that mid-game death ball, and I would say especially so if they go for the Wex Invoker, which I believe they will. Whereas for TongFu, they have some great ganking, they have some team fight with the March, but mostly this is a lineup that wants to spread the map and wants to go for individual kills. And Lumi, it's Visage.
Well, then suddenly everything changes, right? We might not actually see Lone Druid on the tri-lane or dual lane, whatever you call it. We might see Tidehunter, Venomancer, and Visage as the killing tri-lane, perhaps going up top lane, maybe even going up bot. Whichever lane they're going to go into, they're going to have a lot of kill opportunities. Let's just hope that they don't actually end up in the same lane as Morphling, because that will make things extremely, extremely awkward. Now it completely makes sense why they want to ban out the Shadow Demon, because you could land all the stuns on a single hero, but a single disruption will just, again, break up the ganking party. So now it all makes sense. It comes down to laning now, choosing the lanes. And let's see if Fluff is going to be making the right calls.
Generally, for Complexity, I feel the lanes, the normal way to run this and kind of the obvious way to do it is that offensive tri-lane that you were talking about. The Venomancer, Tidehunter, and Visage. Invoker probably mid and Lone Druid on the safe lane. But if they want to run a defensive tri-lane, Tidehunter can benefit from the farm. Venomancer and Visage, relatively level dependent for supports. Not incredibly so, but relatively so. And Lone Druid can go off lane. So for Complexity, they have some options here at the lanes. But that's what I would expect. I just think if you pick Visage, you do it to get early kills. And putting that tri-lane in the safe lane, well, your chance of getting kills goes down pretty significantly. And I just realized my sound is muted in-game. Let me fix that real quick.
Shadow Shaman is going to be a last pick here for TongFu. I'm a little bit surprised about that. We talked about why Chinese teams love Shadow Shaman because he's a support that when he does get farm, and most Chinese teams do give them farm, he's just great in terms of mid and late game, even still being effective because Hex is a 4-second disable. I mean, it doesn't get anything get any better than that. Now my question is, and what I expected from TongFu to pick is actually an Earthshaker because generally when you're up against such a powerful tri-lane, Earthshaker is one of the best heroes to shut it down, but it feels like, yeah, they're like, we'll get a single target disable instead, and we feel good enough with this. I'm not sure whether I believe this is a correct pick, but let's see how the TongFu is going to run with that one.
Yeah, let's see how they're going to lane this too. Awoke's going to be playing the Beastmaster, Hao on the Morphling, Kabu going to be playing the support Rubik, Mu on the Tinker. Generally goes mid, so won't be surprised at all if he does that this game. And sansheng going to be on the Shadow Shaman. Now, sansheng often seen playing the off lane, but occasionally he does play supports as well. So for TongFu, we'll have to see where they want to lane. They're not revealing too much right now. It's pretty obvious that Morphling will be in the side lane, and Beastmaster could be going solo mid with the Stout Shield. It's not really clear. The lane's pretty open-ended. For complexity, though, Lumi, we're going to see a 5-on-5 clash early on if either team chooses to engage. Both teams head into the dire jungle.
Yeah, fluffnstuff leading the charge right now. Soul Assumption is going to be his first skill, and looks like they are going to run into each other. Neither team have really good level 1 engagement spell. IX Mike has to hit that Gale. It has a really long range. TongFu awoke, perhaps. He eats a Tango right now. 7-second regen per 7 regen per second. Looks like a fight is going on. Fluff's dropping a lot of spells, but the Tanker Marcher Machine, like I predicted, huge damage output. Now the Radiant team on full retreat. Again, Fluff could turn around, drop off a couple of nukes, but he cannot. No mana. That's a double kill for a Tinker.
Oh, the
and
body
now
block.
Finds out body block from Evoke. Sick play here. Triple kill. My God.
Well,
My God.
that could not have... It's funny, you said neither team has a really good level 1 fighting squad, and it's true, Morphling's pretty good. Tinker's okay, but normally you like to get at least a couple points in each of his abilities. Beastmaster, no Roar, no Boar, only level 1 axes, but if you fight under the March, you will suffer the consequences. Complexity, not respecting the March, a big waveform on 4 heroes. Wow, 3 kills off the bat for TongFu, couldn't have started any worse for the Radiant. 750 gold lead. Actually, is that 1,000? Call it 1,000. It is 1,000 gold lead. Before the creeps even spawn, and they have heroes who can really use the gold. Oh, this is not looking good for complexity. We'll have to see if they can turn it around.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough here. Mu, I mean, with the 2 kills, first blood and a double, now already has a magic bottle, and the Marcher Machine, he's just using Marcher Machine in the lane like he owns the place, because he does. And now jeyo is going to have a little bit tough time in the mid lane. On the top, a little bit more harass going on. sansheng taking some pot shots. He perhaps will be very close to the kill range. Tidehunter is going to be getting the solo farm on the bot. If Complexity needs to find an opening back in this game, it has to start on the top lane by killing sansheng a couple of times. They're not going to kill Morph, but sansheng is a very, very killable hero in this stage of the game.
This is bizarre, to put it mildly. It's TC in the offensive tri-lane. Lone Druid is a hero that needs a lot of levels. You want to get that level 3 up on the bear, level 5 on the hero so you can entangle. I'm really not sure how much killing potential they have in this lane. It doesn't help that his Spirit Bear is dead, because the tri-lane, off the bat, he got picked off in that early engagement. This is curious. I would have expected Tidehunter to be here, and Lone Druid could dominate Beastmaster bottom. Hannah Montana will be fine here, but I'm just not sure if this is the right way to lane it. We'll have to see if they can make things happen. It certainly doesn't help that they gave up all those kills, but here we go. sansheng hit by the Gale. Actually, no damage available from Soul Assumption, so Fluff will back off. That's not very often you see a support Shadow Shaman get picked off by a Gale and then they don't even initiate on him.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Shaman is already slow enough a hero. It seems like they just don't want to make it go. And yeah, I think lacking the Tidehunter Gush in this instance just makes the awkward killing lane. They can't go on the Morphling. Again, the waveform is just simply too strong. I guess to answer your question, the reason they're not putting Tidehunter on the top is I've never actually seen Hannah Montana play anything aside from that solo lane by himself. So, not sure if they just haven't practiced this kind of laning situation. But in this particular instance, it's just not helping them out right now.
Well, this is the reason most teams pick Visage is for his dominance as a killing hero in a tri-lane, right? You don't get him for his support ability, although he can be kind of tanky. If you want to just pick a utility-style support hero or a tri-lane hero, they're generally better options. You get this hero because Soul Assumption can get you a lot of kills early on. We'll have to see if they can make them happen. For the moment, it's not, but let's check out those other 2 lanes. Tidehunter on the bottom lane, but he's about 1 creep way ahead of Awoke, so basically I would wash on the bottom lane, I want to say. Very slight edge to Hannah Montana. In the mid lane, it's Mu versus Jeyo. Pretty even so far, but like you mentioned, Mu with the double kill in the first blood will have the edge here. Also going to be better at controlling the runes, at least until Jeyo gets those phase boots, which it looks like they're on the way. And he's definitely going for the Wex build. So EMP Tornado, this can be a great turnaround combo to have in the mid game.
Well, I mean, like you pointed out, I think Mu's going to get most of the runes because Marcher Machine will push the lane whether Invoker will like it or not. Phase boots just about to finish, but I think Mu in a dominant position. That double damage is very helping out and lasting denying like an absolute champ. On the bot lane, it's a pretty even lane as well. 12-4 on the Tidehunter and 12-4 exactly on the Beastmaster. Beastmaster gonna go for the Soul Ring. I just feel like awoke is absolutely receiving zero pressure. He could go off the lane and go for pull on the Ancient camp, and of course he could be harassing Hannah in the lane. I feel like TongFu, they just have better lane overall in every single situation.
And it's really only going to get worse here in the bottom lane because awoke is going for that Soul Ring Tranquil Boots build. Well, he hasn't picked up the Tranquil Boots yet, but that's generally what he likes to do. Oh, Hannah Montana, thinking about the dive, not going to in the end, and there you go, salve up. And then he's got the Soul Ring available, just needs the courier to send it out. And the Tranquil Boots, not going to be too far off if he wants it. And once those two are up, he'll never leave this lane, even against Tidehunter with Anchor Smash spam. It's just not enough by himself. So yeah, they're getting a leveled up Tidehunter, but I'm with you, I just don't think it's enough. Sure, Tidehunter getting 6 could be a turnaround if he TP's top, gets a quick Ravage gank, but aside from that, these supports are pulling top a lot, they're getting levels, they're getting farm. Not too much in terms of farm, but the levels are really the important thing here. Complexity are playing this passively, and I don't think it's going to work out for them, but we'll see. Maybe they'll have some big adjustments from that Tidehunter showing up.
Yeah, Venomancer and Visage as heroes into the mid game, they're not that powerful. Grave Shield is picked up here as Fluff's second spell. The standard build is what he's going for. So they have as strong of a killing power as they'll ever get. Level 2 on both the supports. I feel like if, you know, Shadow Shaman or the Rubik's out of position, they would just go for it. But look at Rubik already with the Boots of Speed picked up. Shadow Shaman, 200 gold, Magic Stick being picked up. So I feel like they have enough item to survive most of the barrage spells that Radiant will be tossing at them.
I love this play by TongFu, even though... Why can't I draw on the map? Oh, because it's a replay. That's unfortunate. But I just love how the Chinese teams play their tri-lanes. When they do the safe tri-lane, pulls to the small camp, pulls over. Even when you ward the standard pull camp, they'll pull to the other one just to try and keep the lane back. Sure, they don't care too much about getting the last hits. They really just want the levels. And hey, they're getting a few last hits, like you said. The early boots of kabu, very helpful on these squishy supports, especially against a tri-lane that has some decent killing potential. At TC, 5.5 minutes in, he would have level 5 by now. He would have Entangle if he's bottom. Instead, he's level 3 and really nowhere near it.
Yeah, is he getting a lot of farm? He's got 25 creep kills, so I mean, this lane is, you can't be said is lost. Fluff gets lifted up in the air. The right clicks will be coming in. Fluff going to the south. He's gonna drop soul assumptions before he dies, perhaps. He doesn't even drop it off. Oh no, he got burst down way too fast. And the offensive trialing, the supposed offensive trialing, is really not being offensive at all. They lost another hero, and the score is 0-4. Goal difference, pretty big. Well, still about around 1,000, but that 1,000 goal difference, I mean, it's a tower at the very least.
This early in, that's very big, and especially because complexity of so many dominant laning heroes. Visage, Invoker, Tidehunter, even Lone Druid is a dominant laning hero. He might not get kills, but he should dominate the lane, and Venomancer, of course, as well. Whereas for TongFu, they have some heroes that aren't that strong in the lane. Beastmaster's not normally that great. Shadow Shaman, as a support hero, normally not very strong. So to me, the big thing here is that TongFu is not losing the early game, and to me that's winning the early game for them, because they should be losing it by a little bit.
Look to awoke actually to go to Secret Shaman, perhaps pick up a TP scroll. He is level 7 now. Can't set up on the gank. I think one more gank on the top lane is really what will break complexities back. I mean, they're kind of behind, but Morphling's not having the best farm. But one extra gank from a Beastmaster will quickly change that. Look at Mu, already Marcher Machine farm. Man, he's gonna be so rich after this. He's got 800 gold right now, but quickly will aspire up to like 1,200, 1,300. Meanwhile, we have Kabu just rotating on the mid lane, so good at making sure that no lane is losing any type of EXP as Mu's doing this jungle shenanigans.
And this is so safe, this game, right? Because there's no tri-lane bottom, there's no roamers, it's just the tri-lane top. They're in no position to pressure this. Normally when we see Tinker stacking Ancients, there's at least something done about it, whether it's a ward in the camp, whether it's a support roaming in. Maybe a week ago, we cast a game where a Shadow Demon just kept on running up the hill and trying to harass it. There's nothing this game. It's just unopposed.
I think it was Complexity that did it. They were sending Chen creeps into the camp to block and harass. It was well played by Fluff in that game, but this game, because the lane is on top, it's not working out. TC has a phase, but will be running out. It looks like sansheng perhaps it's going to take a lot of nuke. Soul Assumption is going to get cast, but the burst damage, jeez, from sansheng is just too much. And now the gank goes the other way. Fluff, or excuse me, IX Mike's going to eat a waveform. The waveform misses. Ravish used, and I think that's the blunder. How's going to go down? Lucky break for IX Mike and Complexity. Boy, they needed that one. And they got it. Great.
Are they done? They did use the Ravage from Morphling, but getting that kill, and more importantly, like you said, the fact that IX Mike miraculously survives. Great overall situation for them, but they don't get the extra kill. They don't kill sansheng, who is now level 5, almost has his wards up, and that means if they ever get a couple kills, they can push down a tower early. That's why the Chinese love their Shadow Shaman. The disables, but more importantly, his ability to push and provide additional gold for the team. This is a team that needs that gold, and Tinker, very close to those boots of travel. I like this decision. Moosh he's not even in lane anymore. He's just going to be stacking, farming Ancients, defending the bottom lane occasionally. They'll let Beastmaster, Rubik handle that middle lane, and then Morphling up top, along with sansheng. Just trying to maximize their gold and experience gain wherever possible.
And again, that's leading Kabu. Bot lane here, engagement happening. They do Tornado, move up in the air. Will it be enough? Tornado, and the cold snap missed? Did he misplace it somewhere? In either case,
I think he misclicked. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was on cooldown. I'm not sure exactly where he threw it on, but they didn't get the kill. But yeah, like you pointed out, Mu now Ancient stacking, and that leaves Kabu. He's already level 6.5. Remember, he started the game as a support Rubik. So now he's doing quite well. He could be threatening to steal Hannah Montana spell, or Ravages, should he chooses not to Anchor Smash.
Right, compare that to the tri-lane supports of Complexity. Level 4 Visage, level 3 Venomancer. Sure, TC is getting a lot of farm, and that's great. But these supports are going to become such a liability in the mid-game, especially against TongFu, who is just great at getting pickoffs with Roar, with Waveform, and IX Mike. Speaking of pickoffs, Roared will go down just to a solo kill from Awoke. That is really something I don't want to be giving up. And he does ward the Ancients, but it's already too late. Moo's got the boots of travel, he's got the soul ring, and he's got the bottle. And he's done it 10 minutes in, not even sitting in his lane the entire time, giving the farm to Kabu. The game is not actually out of reach for Complexity, but TongFu is just getting so much momentum on their momentum-based heroes. I feel this is going to be big trouble over the next 5-10 minutes.
It really, really feels out of reach, even though, I mean, if you look at the game, no tower has been brought down, right? It's only 5 kill difference. Most teams can come back from this, but because, like you said, the momentum hero getting that momentum, we're going to see Breach of Travel. Breach of Travel's already up, jeez. Wards gets dropped down, suddenly all the offense being turned on like a flick of a button. And of course, this is counting out the Morphling. The Morphling is not even involved in any of this so far. He's just merely CSing on the top lane, falling a little bit behind, sitting 4 CS per minute, but if you go for something really offensive like a BKB first or a Ghost Scepter into a Ethereal Blade, I mean, this game could get really ugly really fast.
You know, Luby, it makes me wonder about the tri-lane. We talked about one aspect of it, which was Tidehunter being bottom and choosing the tri-lane the Lone Druid, but the other thing we didn't really discuss, at least not since the draft, this is a Wex Invoker, but if you would ran the offensive tri-lane, especially with the Tide, how many kills could they have gotten with Sunstrike? It feels like they could have gotten a ton, or at least put a lot of pressure on that lane. So the early laning decision by Complexity not really panning out. Hindsight is 2020. They're not out of it yet. TC 1400 gold in the bank. Relic not too far off. Could have that probably by the 15-16 minute mark. But it's not like this Relic will end the game if he opts to go that route, because there's so much anti-push on TongFu. He could try and siege down some towers, but they'll be getting the trade-offs elsewhere, like bottom, where it's a Roar on the Fluff. March follows up, and Fluff just melts. Moo, only level 1 laser, but even that does some good damage. He's getting real big, real fast.
Yeah, I mean, is this a Relic build, or is that the Maelstrom build? The AOE 2000 strikes once again. Maybe, don't know. Tornado's gonna pick Tinker up in the air on top lane. Jeyo don't want to die for it, but not under that marching machine. Morphling threatened to waveform, but he's gonna stay chill.
They can't
stay back for now. They cannot push. But I mean, I want to just say that right now, I think Complexity is holding on fairly decently. They went down 0-3 before the game even begun, and they have lost only 1 tower so far. Tier 1 perhaps will be destroyed, so oh no, that Teleport Zero comes from Visage. I feel like they're holding on decently. Like, he's dead. Being down so much, but he might be dead now as the Hex Aftershock comes in right now. Rocket for the kill. Ooh, the ward gets dropped down. Tier 1's gonna go down. Jeyo TP's in. It's 1v3 under the marching machine and the ward. Jeyo over aggression gonna get picked off. Another teleport. No, that one's gonna get canceled. No, it does not get canceled. Shackle, the tower's gonna get destroyed by the board. Oh my goodness, complexity. They're just dying one at a time.
A Ravage for a 1-for-3 trade, not what Complexity was hoping for. March of the Machines, it's I was mentioning the turtling aspect of it, how you can stop the push. We saw that up top. Then we see at bottom where it becomes even better anti-push than, I don't know, a Night Stalker charging and scare you off. It's just, you can't fight under your own tower if you let Tinker set up, and boy, it's hard to stop him from setting up when you don't have any global mobility of your own, when your team's very poor and behind. No boots on Fluff, and if he's not a liability already, he's going to become more of one as this game progresses. Not even having boots against TongFu's burst damage, the rage on this team, Lumi, it is ridiculous.
Yeah, the reason that Visage as a hero just get outclassed by other support heroes is once you get to the mid game, your single target solo sums your nuke. It's not going to be too important in terms of killing hero. It's going to be decent, but it's not going to be a game breaking nuke like it was during the laning stage. Also, he does nothing for you when you're trying to defend and push. In a situation like this, if you have a Crystal Maiden, you could at least nuke down the creep wave, right?
Right.
What is Visage as a hero going to do for you? Nothing really. Once you hit level 6, you can summon the birds and they can do something for you in a small scale engagement.
Oh, no Ravage here.
Wait on against Fluff. Fluff taking massive amount of damage, and Fluff should be able to get out here. Meanwhile, Tinker on the mid lane gets one kill. March Machine still going. Awoke perhaps will go down. The bear actually slowed him down, but he should be fine. Tinker in the middle of things should be careful. He forced himself out. Will be okay as well. Look at how aggressively TongFu is diving, and perhaps they're not even in good positioning, but because they're level and item advantage, they will just win those fights.
Well, this is what happens when the Ravage isn't up. If the Ravage is up, they're not diving like that, I can tell you that right now. But with the Ravage down, they siege out the lane, they get the tower destroyed by Rubik. And you've been harping about how the Chinese teams love to get their supports fat. Well, this is a filthy rich 14-minute support tri-lane Rubik. Arcane Boots, Bracer, Wards picked up, complete in Magic Wand, not just a Magic Stick, and 450 in the bank. The gold from the tower kills is certainly helping out, but it's also just the fact that he got some farm in that middle lane. Sitting on 21 creeps right now. He's got more creeps than the Venomancer and the Visage combined.
And of course, sansheng, look at him. I mean, he's not doing too shabby. He's got double Bracer for a support in this stage of the game. And look at Awoke. I just love it. Sees the advantage. War Trap on Awoke! What a sick play!
Let's just take a moment.
That was kind of a big misclick, but I love the fact that he has Gem of True Sight here. Look at the wards they've been placing. It is literally a chokehold against complexity. They have I feel like they have no shot coming into this bank. Coming back in this game, aside from TongFu making a huge blunder, I just don't see TongFu blowing this one.
The one big game changer would normally be the Lone Druid, but this is a tri-lane Lone Druid, under level, not close to the level 2 ult. Also not close to a big damage item. If he wants Maelstrom, he could have it, but a Maelstrom without, really without the full supporting cast, he doesn't have track like his own. Age is still on the ground. Are they going to pick this up?
Because he's trapped. They want to give it to
Oh, he's going to get denied!
He has to pick it up. The trees! Destroy Fluff! Fluff going for the destruction, not going to get it off. And now sansheng in a little bit of trouble. Is Ravage back up? Yeah, Ravage is back up. That's going to hit 3 people. sansheng's going to get focused. Beastmaster War gets dropped on Jeyo. Jeyo very low. Jeyo's going to get right click down. Mech gets used right now. Jeyo lives. But meanwhile, Tinker gets yet another kill with the rocket snow. So Jeyo does die. And now the chase goes the other way. Fluff dropping every spell. Hannah goes into Invis and Hannah says goodbye. Will Hannah be okay as well? No, they have the gem, so Invis not going to help either. 3-14. Wow, this is really a one-sided affair. That
was a really late attempt to contest the Roshan. Complexity. Normally, when a Roshan dies, like the Aegis was on the ground for all I totally understand sending the gargoyles there, trying to snipe it, deny it, but to actually commit to that fight, really, you can't expect the Aegis to be down for that long. So pretty ballsy play by Complexity to be behind by that much and try to force the issue. And man, it did not pay off at all. Really cannot have gone any worse. Tinker, oh Lumi, he's got a Staff of Wizardry, as well as an old Talisman. Normally I'd say this is a Yule Scepter, but with the old Talisman, this might be a Dagon. Middle lane though, it's Kabu, getting picked off, will probably take a fall, he will, and the chase continues. The march doing big damage on everyone. sansheng entangled, big entangles from TC, and now Awoke caught out one by one. Now it's TongFu who are going to feed, who are going to get caught out and picked off, and Awoke all but dead at this point. The gem, the Aegis, it will all be lost. The roar into TC, maybe he'll TP out. No, the gargoyles lurking in the air above him. They don't actually have the stuns available. And Moo, he TP's into his own demise. Are you serious? Oh, but the march! Is it enough? I don't think so. No, it's not.
Oh, look at the Axis bringing Tidehunter to such low amount of HP. Tinker comes in running and gets a double kill, triple kill because he just got one earlier. Look at that huge force staff. The hell did he do? Oh, he's looking for the laser. He's gonna get the laser. That's an ultra kill after a buyback.
And a rampage, or a team rampage, I should say, because Hao got the last kill there. So everybody gets wiped in complexity. Until that TP end after the buyback, it was looking good. Man, they get the gem, they kill up the Aegis, but with all 5 heroes taking a fall, if it wasn't already disaster, it certainly is now. Over a 10k gold lead, over a 12,000 experience lead. This is looking to be a very quick game number 1.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Tinker about to finish Dagger number 1, generally considered as a joke or a pub item. In this situation, when you're up by level, gold, item, EXP, one of the best items you could ever ask for. It is just absolutely insane. He's about a couple goals short away from it. One more March will actually get him that Dagger.
Look at the HP pools and complexity. Visage pretty tanky because he does have decent strength gain. But still only 900 health on him. Normally you'd expect to see like 1200 plus at this stage. Jeyo, around 1100, but then the rest of the heroes are... Well, Hannah Montana is good, but IX Mike is just going to be absolute food. And it's not even their HP values. You got to consider that the March can do easily 700, 800 damage over the course of a fight, and they're going to lose another tier 2. Or their first tier 2, but the first
earlier,
of many.
I said March is a spell that you shouldn't underestimate, but I did not expect it will grab you first blood in an ultra kill in team fight. Like, it's great, but not this good, right?
It shouldn't be this good. And by the way, Hao is not even team fighting. He got 1 kill mid, but he's just farming away top, keeping pace with his lone druid, and that's a problem. When Tinker is 10, 11, 1, and 5, and your lone druid is not massively out farming Morphling, and you can't leave your base at 19 minutes in, oh, this is going to be tough.
On the bright side here, we're up to 3,300 gold on TC's farm. Although the Relic and Radiance, like you brought it up earlier, it's not going to be the end. On mid lane here, Ravage gets dropped. Tinker is going to be TPing right, and Beastmaster drop on IX My Tornado. Ravage gets stolen, it gets used. Tinker gets 1 kill. He's looking for more kills, force staffing himself out. Is the Tinker Dagon still on cooldown? Have not used it yet. The March Machine just gets the second kill. That's the double, and I think that is going to be it for that fight.
Oh,
looks like a little bit more. They do pick him up in the air. Moo does have all his spells. Goes in Dagon, Laser, Rocket, every spell up in the arsenal. TC very tanky. He's gonna run out fine, but his team just waiting for him in the well, respawning. TongFu winning this game 1. Can I call that right now? Is it unfair to call it right now?
16 minutes in, Moo is level, or 20 minutes in, Moo is level 16 with a Dagon 2, 4 staff, Soul Rain, Bottle, Boots of Travel. This is good farm for 30 plus minutes in. It's not 100% over, but it's about as close as you can get. Let's call it 99.9. Again, Hao is still not fighting with the team. He's just farming, and he's got 4k gold in the bag. If they somehow lose this, this would be the greatest throw of all time. I'm going to call it right now.
The greatest throw.
That I would say it's safe to call.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, Moo gets picked up in the air. And yeah, there's going to be that cold snap plus the venomous gale. That does pick him off. So Moo, I mean, complexity will kill you if you're out their base, you know. So Moo perhaps thinking about that one for now.
If Moo does that about 5 more times, then it's going to be looking really grim. But aside from that, with all these towers going down, where can this lone druid farm? He's not a Morphling where he can just replicate out, wave into the trees, and TP out. He's tanky. But TongFu have shown they don't care if you're tanky. They have enough burst damage with this Tinker alone to kill you off. Not to mention the lockdown from the rest of the squad. But Complexity are going to try to push mid. They do have... Well, actually, no, they don't have Ravage, so this is kind of dangerous, kind of ballsy, I gotta say. I probably wouldn't commit to a fight, but with Tinker dead, they can force the issue a little bit.
Yeah, they are doing just that. Blink Dagger gets picked up here by Shadow Shaman, the support Shadow Shaman. The birds in the background, familiar, looking for the stun. Nice force staff back out here by the Rubik. I feel like every support on the Dire side just have at least like tier 2 items at this point. They're filthy rich. They are going to get this tier 1 Tinker back in about 8 seconds. And I think this is a good time for TC to go back. You gotta keep in mind that sure, Hannah Montana's Ravage is coming back up, but that also means that Rubik's Ravage is coming back up. Because he stole it during the last fight, and he still has it. At least for a couple, minute or so.
Yeah, I believe when he stole it was the level 2 ultimate, so he has it for, I want to say like an extra minute and a half or so to work with. And TongFu is a team that definitely enjoys their smoke gang, so we're seeing it now. Sansheng as well as Rubik that being played like Kabu, smoked up, prepared to initiate, and oh boy, he not only has Ravage, he also has a Force Staff, a double if Tinker wants to help him out. This could be disaster all over again for Complexity. Here we go, Lumi. Jeyo called out, pulled back in, and he'll go down. No chance. No
Laser
chance.
rocket, Favo, telekinesis, Dagon. I mean,
I think this team is the damage department covered.
they do. They definitely do. They got the initiation cover as well, right? Blink Shangzhen, you got the Beastmaster Roar. I mean, right now, TongFu is just... It feels like unfair.
I go back to the lanes, and I still feel Complexity had some great options for the lanes.
I feel like the lanes, we spoke that point to death. I just want to ask, how big was that engagement at the beginning of the game? How big was that? Like, was the game unwinnable at that point? You know, going 0-3 when you're trialing top?
I still think they could have gotten kills if they had run the trialer with the Tidehunter. I mean,
Fair enough. I agree with that.
Again, it's easy for me to nitpick, but Lone Druid is gonna have a great time 1v1 against Beastmaster. Melee heroes in general really struggle in that matchup, and at the very least, you have a fat Lone Druid who's got a lot more levels, even if the tri-lane is still a disaster. So, to me, a fat Lone Druid is gonna offer you a lot more than a fat Tidehunter. He's got mech, but really, does a mech compare to a Radiance, maybe a Hyperstone by now, something like that? I don't think so. But you're right, we have beaten that horse to death.
Yeah, Lone Druid though is got the girl. Ooh, they smoked right outside. Is that a dire ward? Yes, that is a dire ward in front of the middle of the base. So Complexity, when the tough gets going, they love to get a smoke on, but I'm not sure whether the dire will fall for it. You can see TongFu just making straight dives back to the tower. So this is kind of, I feel like this is the last hurrah. If Complexity doesn't get this thing going, they have really I don't want to get saying nail on the coffin.
Jeyo reveals the gank, auto-attacks the Hawk there by mistake. And TongFu have to know something's up, although they didn't ping the map.
They knew it already, so Jeyo just farmed, right.
Right, but if they didn't know exactly where... Yeah, you're right. But if they didn't know exactly where the smoke was, they definitely did after that. Well, what do you do now? Your smoke gank didn't work. Maybe you bait TC?
Maybe you bait TC? Yeah, just farm for Radiance. I mean... I guess at this point in the game, if you take a fight right now, you have no chance to win, right? So let's go with the extremes here. If you're down by 3k go, and you can make... Are they down to 3k go? Let me check right now. No, okay, never mind. Never mind! I just look at the go difference, and it just scared me.
They were down by about 12k gold like 6 minutes ago. Where have you been, man?
Okay, well, I was using 3k as a very generalized number.
Right,
One thing you can do is... If you're down by some large amount of chunk of gold, just keep turtling and go for late game. If you can maintain that different gold lead, they could be doubling your gold right now, but in about 20 to 30 minutes, they'll probably be leading by gold in 25% in terms of same value.
As long as you don't die, you're right.
Right, as long as you hold the gold level in an even pace. I'm not sure how you're going to do that against a Tinker with Dagon, but I think that's their only out. That's their only way to win. I don't think they could just go mid right now and claim tier 2 or anything like that.
Oh man, that's very bold to even think about that. That wasn't even on my mind, but yeah, I don't think they can do that either. Here's the problem though, is generally you'll be able to hold even, but not if the enemy team is farming your jungle, pushing all the lanes with Tinker, with Morphling. Then you're going to continue to slip farther and farther behind. Maybe it will be a smaller ratio in terms of the difference, but that difference is still going to go up pretty significantly. It's not like Complexity have another choice. I mean, you're right. They can't just push mid. They can't really smoke. They're doing the best they can. But this is about as unwinnable of a position as you will ever see without Rax actually being down and move. As though he wasn't already ballsing up with the Dagon, with the early Dagon, with the Force Staff. He now gets a Blink Dagger.
I mean, I can't fault Complexity. I mean, they have big heart, right? Big smoke gang. They do. Ooh, nice immediate blink out. Look at the quick reaction here on sansheng. But I don't think they could actually go for this. Jeyo just running ahead. Ward gets dropped down on the high ground. Definitely Blast catches the Woke, but I don't think they want to be there right now. Morphling just does not care. He's just supporting, he's pushing on the top lane by himself. He's going to force a couple of TPs.
3.4k up. If he wants the Ethereum Blade, he's got it soon. And it won't... Complexity have actually... When I was saying before they're squishy, they're not quite as squishy as I thought, but you couple it up with the Tinker's Dagon and all his nukes, and suddenly it is just impossible to deal with that. The only way, they gotta find some picks. TongFu have to make mistakes, but with the Aegis likely going their way soon, I'm not sure how you actually force those mistakes. And Hal is not gonna stop, like he said, still breaching high ground. Replicates out, probably should have stayed there, but maybe he wants the Aegis.
Yeah, he definitely does want the Aegis, and hopefully Awoke doesn't get ward trapped by his own teammate this time. Doesn't seem like that's gonna happen as they're gonna right-click the Roche down. Awoke with the Necro 1 in this case, Necro 2 already on stash, Necro 3 soon to be follow. Gem is still up. I mean, I just don't know how Complexity find a way back, but they're in the game still, so they believe they could at least play this game for a little bit longer. For their sake, I mean. Let's believe as well.
I am believing, Lumi. I am praying, I am believing, but it does not look good. I can't lie about that. They get an Aegis, no real pressure being done. Morphling is going for the Ethereal Blade, so it'll be a 28-minute Linken's Ethereal Blade. Now, I will say, Linken's about as low impact an item for that 5,000 gold in a team fight as you can get. So, this is a very fat Morphling, but it's not going to offer him too much in team fights. What it does offer him is just the ability to push forever. So if they want to draw it out, it'll work great. But if they actually team fight, this is not going to do too much for them.
I feel like if TongFu has a BKB on their morph, they could just win right now. But instead, I guess they're just milking their advantage. There's no reason for them to push. They're so far ahead. They believe that there's no way that the Celebrate could catch back up. And I think that they can be right if they assume that. So there's no reason for them to push.
For the moment, Complexity making the best of a bad situation here. TC farming where he can, but you can just see Tinker shows up to the lane, he blinks in, drops a rocket, and just one rocket alone. Lodred's gonna go heal.
The problem is you don't know if that Tinker is alone, because that Tinker is holding hands with his team. Meanwhile, TongFu just playing like, you know, like how standard. Gonna keep dropping wards, making sure they farm the enemy jungle, and basically just slowly choke in. I'm just wondering what is TongFu exactly waiting for? Are they waiting for a big item? Hexes, perhaps? Are they waiting for a pick-off?
Maybe the Ethereal Blade on How, but he's just got it now if he wants it. Aside from that, there's a Necro 3 up for the Beastmaster. There's really nothing they need to wait for. To me, this is getting to that point where it's like, alright guys, come on, you can push now. You have a 25k gold lead, you have an Aegis, you have the better late game carries. You're way ahead. Well, maybe not the better, but certainly the more farm. You're really, even your supports have items. The Blake Dagger, Double Bracer, Arcane Boots, and sansheng. BKB on the way for Rubik. Oh, they find TC. This might be the opening, Lumi. TC, Ravage on 3. Great Ravage, entangled into sansheng. Goes down immediately. Does he have buyback? No, oh, sorry, that's the Shadow Shaman. Doesn't matter if he does. Roar, Hal zips in. Ethereal Blade picked up. Where's the follow-up damage? They're not finding it right now. Tinker in the back line's pretty low. Needs to go heal. He'll do that. TongFu perhaps held back for the moment, but with Ravage and cooldown, can reset, rearm, and then go again.
Well, I mean, they won that fight, so as much as we're counting down Complexity, and I'm sure everybody watching on stream right now is counting on Complexity. Complexity believes, and they won the fight, so... But right now, without the Ravage in the next 100 seconds or so, that's going to be very dangerous. EMP Tornado draining all the mana. I mean, Complexity is not giving up. On the top lane here, you can see how... Oh, it's a shotgun to the face, but should be fine for now. But Beastmaster comes in. You don't want to be in the same neighborhood. He's going to go for the Entangle. No Entangle just right now. Very lucky is Awoke.
Kind of a bogey wave from there, but he should be okay. He should be okay. Oh, this could be trouble, but he's got the Aegis.
Wow. TC is like the most unlucky man with the Entangles. That's like the 6 or 7 hit.
Oh, grab the haste rune. No, Kabu steals it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hal turns around, wave through. Not morphing to strength. He'll take a fall once. Will they come again? Moo in the back line. They're not focusing Moo. This is going to be trouble. Zaps one. Riard's going to go for another zap. No, the rockets fly through. IX Mike going to try and feed to the neutrals. No, going to try and keep you out. Not going to happen. The laser cleans him up. And Hannah Montana blocked in. A horrible little trap for him as Awoke chases him down. One more Hex. Couple of right clicks come through. Morphling joins the fight. And it's a team wipe. That has to be end of the line for Complexity, right? I cannot see them holding on any longer.
No problem, man. 2 familiars on the tree lines will be defending this push against 5.
Ninjas. They are ninjas. They're flying back.
Actually, this reminds me of a very cheeky way of playing the old Nerubian Assassin or the Nyx Assassin back in Dota 1. What they would do, what a lot of Trilings would do, a pushing Triling involving a Nyx Assassin is you get the Earnest Swarm, the bug, and you park it between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower, and you keep burrowing it and burrowing it, and the creep wave at the back line just freak out, right? They keep attacking, and then they're like, oh, it's gone, and now we're on pass. And then you unburrow, and they keep attacking. And then you just push through the Triling. What the familiar could have done is, you know, you fly in and out of the tree lines, and draw the creep's attention, and try to delay that push. But that's just really crazy strat that has nothing to do with this game. Alright, game 1 in the books.
No, I personally love that, you know, just messing with the creep aggro, using the Nerubian bug to try and pull the creeps back. And do anything you can to stall the push. The problem was Complexity had a single wave, or sorry, TongFu had a single wave, and that's enough with the
And they have 5
3.
heroes live, right?
Right. Roar onto the creeps, the disconnects come out. Complexity gonna drop game 1, but like you said, it really goes back to that horrible start. Giving up a first blood, and then a double kill after it. 3 kills, 2 of them onto the Tinker. The tri-lane didn't work out either. Complexity go for something a little bit different. Tri-lane lone druid in the off lane. And a Visage who we don't see a whole lot of, and well, there was just no coming back from this one. They made a valiant effort, they made the best of the situation, but it was a bad situation. It was a very, very bad situation. In the end, just not enough. That's game 1, this is a replay cast, so the good news for you guys is we only need a second to run to the bathroom, grab some water. We'll be right back with game